Welcome to Come Knit With Me. This is the bed that came with the Bond Ribber. It comes in one piece. The rod below is not two rods like the ISM and the USM, but it is one solid rod. I don't know if you can see it. Let me see if I can. Can you see that? Sort of. Right here. It's all the way down the length. Okay. Alright, and these are the brackets. They're just like, they're just like the USM and the ISM. Okay, now the directions tell you to mount the main bed, which is what this is called, with these, and then put brackets on. Oh, I like doing it a little backwards. Okay, I find my hole, and I'm going to put this just outside of it, and it just sits, it just sets in. See if I can move my unit so you can see. I've got a board on a bookcase, so that just goes in there, and you tighten up. There's this handle, so you lift up the bed, slide it under, and I don't know how many needles I'm going to use at any one time, so I'm putting this bracket right at the last needle. Just got to make sure your needle's forward. Got to make sure your carriage is forward. I usually make it smaller. Let's see, so you're going to totally. There. And I'm just tightening it up. I hope. Yep. Making sure the carriage stays forward where it's supposed to be. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing on the other end. Tightening the handle. Now the weights, while I'm doing this, come with it. They're thinner than what I use with the Incredible or the Ultimate. Okay, you install the bracket just by tightening the wing nut, putting it in the hole. Now if it's a little close, which I think mine is, you can just loosen the ribber bracket, slide the bed down just a tad, because it helps if you loosen the wing nut. Okay, and then tighten the bracket back up. And I'm going to do the same on the other end. Alright, I'm back. Now the next thing you would think, you put your bond, the rubber portion on here. The directions, I want you to do the cast on first. Now I'm just going to do a sample. And I'm going to use this light yarn. It says to cast on the way your normal cast on, which my normal cast on is a rag hem. And I'm just using the yellow card to bring a selection of needles forward. Okay. And I will take my tool and put them on it, and then I will, sorry about that, I will rehang these stitches. Now I'm not really going to make anything on this one, I'm just going to play with the machine a little bit. Now I like using the rag hem, and I like using the claw weights. You could use your black cam with those rods, just however you're used to doing it. That's what you'll be doing. Honestly, I'm not counting how many stitches, because it's, like I said, this is just a practice, just to get used to the bond and its ribber. One thing that surprised me is I was expecting this to be a different gauge than the regular bond, but it's not. It's the same gauge. That did surprise me. I'm going to double check it later. Okay, and I hang my weights. I like hanging a few weights, but in this case I only hang 4. Okay, and push that back. Now I will use the regular carriage, which is, this is what it looks like. It's the incredible carriage with this. Okay. Put the carriage on. Get your yarn out. One thing I always forget, feed it through the carriage and up. Now there's one thing I want to do, which needs to come up, because I always forget it. Okay. Now this is just some size 10 crochet cotton. Move my threads out of the way. Now this is an open cast on. And I'm just doing it slow. Alright, so I'm cast on. I don't need the bond, the old bond ribber. Excuse me. The old bond carriage. So I'm going to set that aside. It can go down there. Now I can install the ribber, which I got the ribber here on the floor, so excuse me. Now it is good, it's heavy, And all I'm doing is I'm just setting it on the bracket. The reason it's heavy is underneath you'll see some metal. And that's what keeps it straight. Okay. And I center it on the needles. You want to make sure it's in the right spot, which means bring two. And if they meet, like and form a circle, here where the two needles meet, you got it right. Okay. Let me get the camera a little bit because you can't. Now I have to start knitting. This is the carriage for the bottom. And the carriage for the top. Key plate 3. I haven't figured out what those squares are for. As soon as I do, I will share it with you. I'm using key plate 3 on both of them. There it is. And this is what holds them together. You have the dot facing you. Now before you push this down and get carried away, you want to feed the string through that hole. There, now you see. So I'm gonna, all I'm doing, I just did that to the yarn. Okay, it's just set on there. Now I need to get this end under there. What I use is my latch tool. So I come up between the two beds, which you can't see it. I come up between the two beds, which is, I'm right here, and I hook the latch tool onto the yarn and pull it down through. Okay. And then I take a clip and clip it on the yarn. And then I let it fall through so that it's underneath the carriage. Alright, now you got to make sure the carriage is on the plastic bases. Okay, now if it's a little bit too far away, which mine looks like it is, it should be this. Take your green card and make sure you can fit it in here, and I'm adjusting, whoops, going wrong direction. Okay, something like that. I think I got this too far forward. I'm going to put it like that. The answer is yes. Okay, so it is fairly close. See, it goes through. And the gate bag, the walls between the needles, they're lined up against each other. Okay, so I got one row knitted. And I'm just gonna, you don't want to go too fast. You want to look at your work each time. You really want to hold it with 2 hands. Now I got a stitch here that did not stitch, so I just manually stitch it. Okay. And I've showed you how to manually stitch them before. So. And there's 1, 2. Just holding it taut till it makes the first stitch and going across. Okay, that's just how I stitch there. Now, what I need to do is I need to move every other stitch from here, main bed, to the river bed. Okay? And probably the easiest way, bring one up. Excuse me, I gotta take my glasses off to see. And just lift it. I'm just lifting up the stitch and putting it on the ribber needle. And then I'm just pushing the bed needle back and forth. Okay, now, oops. Let me see if now you can see me. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my latch tool, remove the stitch from the main bed, slide up the stitch from the ribber. Again, remove the stitch from the main bed, slide up the stitch from the river bed. I'm doing every other, so this will be a 1x1 rib when I'm done. Okay. You'll find it's easier if you keep that stitch in the hook portion of the latch tool. See, like here, I got to be careful not to pull it too soon. Okay. I don't always remember to keep it in the latch. When I do, it does make this actually easier. Now, I have not done this before, so we are learning together. If there's something you'd like to see me make, just put it down in the comments. Now I'm going to do about 10 rows, then I'm just going to take it off so you can see it. I did not mean to leave at the end here. Okay, now I can knit some ribbing. Like this would be good like if you're doing the cuffs of a sweater. I'm going to try to leave the camera where it's at. Ah, yeah. Don't sound real jumpy. It does need to come up a little bit. Let it grab, then I let go of the yarn and slide it across. I want to I have an extra stitch over there. It's supposed to be over here. So let's move it back over here. Because it's supposed to be a 1x1 rib. Okay, so it's okay. Bring out, just like with the classic and the Bond. Just catch the one strip and knit across. Now, I have heard a lot of horror stories, but the only bad that I've experienced, which is a very short experience, is when it was an operator error. Okay, it hit something, so I'm just going to kind of wiggle it a little bit, because I have no idea what it hit. There it goes. Still don't know what it hit. Pull it taut till it grabs its first stitch. I just backed up a little bit and went forward. Maybe that's the problem. Just till it grabs its first stitch. Don't let it get caught up anywhere. It's fairly quiet, which surprised me. Every now and then, check your needles. I'm going to pull my work down, see if that'll help. Yeah, that did help. Just gave it a tug. Make sure everything is stitching. Okay, now I'm going to do a bunch of rows so you can see what I've done, and I'll be back. Now what I'm doing is I'm casting off. No, sorry. I am moving the work from the ribber onto the main bed. I removed earlier, which I'm going to cut the noise out. I took my carriages off and I put in that piece I forgot, that spacer. If the transfer tool wants to be a bit of a nudge, just use your latch tool. Just go in, pick it up, and slide it on. Or go in and move it just enough so it's in the needle, the hook of the latch tool. Okay. Then you can take it off the latch tool using okay. That doesn't work either. Okay, I need to take the bed off. To do that, I need to take this out. Okay, now remember, the bed is just set on the bracket. So pick it up and move it out of the way without tipping everything over. Easier said than done, right? Okay. Now, just cast off as normal. Now you might want to remove your weights so you don't have too much pressure on this, but personal preference. Okay, I think my next project is going to be a man's sweater. I owe my brother-in-law a sweater. I'm going to make him a V-neck cardigan. Now, I haven't been gone all that long, and this item was supposed to be a sample. Well, didn't turn out that way. Decided I liked it, and I didn't want to have to take it back out. So it's becoming a scarf. I mean, it's not a thick, it's thick. It's not a wide, real wide scarf. You can put up with my background noises. I may have figured out a way to continue with my filming. Okay, let me get that's close. That's how much I had left. Let me take the weights off. Let me take the work off. And like I said, I got a little carried away. So I'm going to take my little piece here. I dropped a stitch. So that's going to come out. Okay, and all I'm going to do is I'll take this piece out here. Well, that was just straight knitting. Nothing real fancy. I'm going to take it out to here, then do a crochet cast off. Okay, now my opinion of the Ribber, I wish they'd kept on making them. Because they are not, this one is nice. But I've only used it once, and you've seen it. So we shall see if it continues. I'm just taking the ravel cord off. I must have got it tight somewhere along the line. So do it the old-fashioned way. I hold it down with my wrist and I loosen it all up. Now these are live stitches. You could do a regular cast on, if you know, a closed cast on, but I wasn't thinking at the time. I was thinking it was just going to be a practice swatch. And to make this thin one, remember I used the card to pull out the needles. Then I cast on. Then I put the ribber up. Then I moved every other needle to the ribber. And plenty of weights. And it might be easier when you cast it on if you use a rag hem, and if you put a lot of weights on before you put the ribber, because once you put the ribber on, you can't see the work. Fortunately, I didn't drop a stitch, which I am amazed pleasantly. So now this one I am going to do a little bit of editing, which normally I don't, because there's some sections that I'm going to make run fast, because you don't need to watch it in real time, because it's kind of boring. Now I did film from under the carriage so you could see what the machine itself is doing on that end. And that's why it wouldn't drop out. Let's see if it's coming now. There it goes. Okay, so I'll be back no later than next week with a new project. Thank you for coming and knit with me, and have fun.